And we're
Welcome.
live.
We were trying to figure out what episode number we were on. I think we have to start like a season 2 now.
I think at the point we forget it's officially season 2.
But I think from the number we have, it's episode 23 or 22. An argument could be made.
23 sounds good.
I think 23, yeah. So here we are, episode number 23. This week, we got a lot of stuff for you.
Yeah, we've got a new security vulnerability for Confluence with a fresh update from today. We've got Atlassian's newest feature from their Atlassian Intelligence lineup. The first one going live. And we have an acquisition from Atlassian this week.
And then anything else that anybody else wants to talk about. But those are the three things we're going to be hitting today.
I have a bonus topic pin that if we get to it, I want to bring up.
Well, we will definitely make some time there. Welcome, Mr. Bob, to the Peanut Gallery. Trick and treats. Hopefully, everybody had a good Halloween. I know I got more Kit Kats than I care to hold now, but I think my son officially did the count, like 26 Kit Kats. Kit Kats are my favorite. So P.O. Box down below if you guys want to ship some Kit Kats. Just kidding.
I mean, I'll take them if you don't.
You need a P.O. Box for fan mail. Emilio, welcome, everybody. I say Trick, we have way too much candy. Yep, way too much candy. It's in our house. Not good at all. But why don't we kick things off with priority number uno? Let's talk about yet another. Hey, if you're all keeping track at home, this is number 3 in the month of October. But yet another CVE, second one for Confluence this month alone.
And this one you really want to pay attention to because Atlassian posted an update today saying they are seeing this actively exploited in the wild. So people are using this vulnerability to hack Confluence instances. Definitely something you need to get fixed.
Yeah, really, really good point, right? Because the last time that we spoke on the other CVEs, we were kind of like, hey, lock your doors, lock your windows, hide your wives, hide your children type of thing. But this one's like, you want to take it a lot more serious.
Yeah.
Mr. Ed is in the house, Mr. Barbecue. So walk us through this. What is this vulnerability all about?
So the improper authorization vulnerability means people essentially get access to stuff they are not authorized to see. This could either be via without an account, just logging in. This could be if they have an account, they could escalate the authorization to something they shouldn't. And this one's especially insidious because it does not require any user input or any users to do anything wrong to activate. They could just go to your Confluence instance and get in.
That doesn't sound good. And every version is impacted. So what do you need to do?
The only mitigation they have, well, they have a new mitigation now. The only one they had was upgrade your instances, which not great. The previous to today, their other piece of advice is if you can't upgrade your instance, take your Confluence off the open internet, which not great advice either. You don't want to ever be in a situation where you're depending on your company firewall as the lone line of defense. But it looks like they have some more steps here to mitigate this. Again, these are temporary steps. These will disable features until you could get it patched. So be aware of that. But it is something you could do if you cannot upgrade right away. But the most ideal is to get to one of these safe versions today.
Today, right now. And Atlassian, I almost feel like they're really making sure these Confluence admins are earning their paychecks this month.
Yeah, this is the second Confluence specific CV we got this month, the third CV in general from Atlassian. So the Atlassian security team, they're lacking some sleep.
So why don't we talk a little bit about this? Why do you think there's such a increased interest in this? Because is it normal for these many incidents to have or vulnerabilities to be discovered in a month?
They do, and I mentioned this last week. They come in waves. They tend to come in clumps. and sometimes it's because these vulnerabilities are related. People are poking in one thing and they realize, oh, wait a minute, I could do this, which is different, and get even better access or something like that. So I have seen them come in clumps like this before. I've seen even bigger clumps where they've been 4 or 5 vulnerabilities in a row. That being said, I think the hacker world is waking up to the situation that if you're in a corporate environment, most of them have a Jira, most of them have a Confluence. The upkeep on them may or may not be up to date. So, and they have a ton of sensitive information. So, they're becoming really, really juicy targets, which means a lot of people are looking at it for bugs, vulnerabilities, stuff like that.
Right. So do you think then there's a heightened awareness for the simple fact that end of life is coming up, right? And that means there's going to be a lot more vulnerable systems in the wild
Mm-hmm.
starting February.
Let's not mince words. Atlassian is still going to release these CVEs because Data Center is running, at least for the moment, on the same code base, which
But
means
what's
a
going to happen to
lot
the
of
server folks, though?
yeah. Well, they're going to announce a CVE for Data Center. People are going to test it against the last version of server. They're going to realize it still works, and it's just going to be unpatched vulnerability. If
But you
something
don't
is
think then Atlassian will
especially,
try to, you don't think Atlassian will try to stop that then?
I was about to say, if something is especially heinous or especially easy to manipulate, they may release an emergency update to some of the systems, but I
Yeah,
would
but these are
not
starting to become
depend
very
on that.
common. They're very, very common. Or
I
they're now
know
becoming more common, right? So I'm
this
worried about.
is yeah, this is the big concern with the server end of life. This is the reason everyone is pushing like data center, cloud. We don't care. You need to either stop using your server instance or migrate it to something else.
So for special shout out to Matt Dorr here. So for everybody out there that's thinking, hey, we can stick around and we don't have to upgrade, right? We don't have to move because as long as we're chill, we're cool. These hackers are gonna make it very risky for you to not upgrade to either the cloud or go to data center.
And yeah, and again, the corporate firewalls only want to protect someone from the outside. If they're already in your systems, which they may be an internal threat actor, or they may have some other way to get into the network. There's going to be no defense. You cannot depend on your corporate
Yeah.
firewall.
I'm just very concerned with the number of like incidents of how they're coming in, the frequency that they're coming in at, right? Especially as we get closer to February, and like companies, I think, like there's news, right? Like today, I got pinged with a couple of people, but very very few people. Like my favorite thing is a lot of people still see the CVE, and then they email me and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing about this?" And I'm like, "Nothing. We're in the cloud. There's nothing I gotta do."
That's something Atlassians like to put in big blue letters sometimes that cloud sites are not affected by the vulnerability. What usually happens is Atlassian has already recognized this vulnerability and fixed it in the cloud before they release these CVEs. So they only have to announce it for the server and data center people. It does make cloud look big. Cloud itself is not invulnerable. It's not like they don't have these same
It
problems.
was just
It's
taken
that
care
they're
of.
fixed for you.
Yeah, but right. But the point I was trying to make though, right, is that I got pinged a couple of times today saying like, "What are you doing about this?" And I'm like, "I'm not doing anything. We don't have to do anything." Obviously, from what you just said, right? But most people don't understand, especially like your IT, cybersecurity shops and your companies. They don't understand. To them, Confluence is Confluence, Jira is Jira.
Mhm.
But there's the difference between data center or on-prem Confluences and Jiras and cloud Jiras and Confluences.
And the magic words to get them to be calm and relaxed is we are not on an affected version. All you have to
So
say to your CISOs.
yeah, so talk to your CISOs because they're panicking, right? They're also getting. I feel like most people that are not in this Atlassian community, they usually find out like 2 or 3 weeks later that there was an incident. So by then it's a little too late. So anyway, so a pretty bad one. Go patch up your systems. We are starting to sound like a broken record here, though. but it is the reality we're living in. I would predict, right, if I was a betting person, that brace yourself for impact, because I think as we get closer to February, we're going to see more and more attempts at this, because there are going to be many businesses that are going to take advantage of the fact that, hey, our server licenses are perpetual. We can live with the fact that we're not going to get patches. We don't need new functionality. It's been working fine for years. And then they're going to be exposed to these problems. So ethically, though, man, Atlassian's working. But I mean, Microsoft has always had this problem too. Right?
I
Like,
mean, Windows 95, Windows XP, every time we have an end of life on one of Windows platform, this is the same discussions we have. What's going to happen to all these machines that are still on XP that we can't move up? What is going to happen with all these machines that are on Windows 7 that we can't move up? We're going to have this discussion with Windows 10 in just a couple of years ourselves.
Yeah. So, anyways, risky business, folks, but the hackers are out there. Your data is valuable. Protect your stuff. Intellectual
Exactly.
property, man. That I personally worked, coming in from the defense world, having worked in a world where, there's bad actors that want to take that intellectual property because it's so much easier to steal than it is to create, right? And it's how we end up with variants of our F-22s. No specific shout outs to a company with we should ask Alex if he's. I'm not gruntled at all.
Oh, so you're disgruntled.
Am I gruntled? Disgruntled? I am ungruntled. I'm the
I'll
opposite.
take that.
I just do what you got to do.
I love how everyone assumes it's not even worth asking what Rodney is.
I send security warnings for ClearCase and ClearQuest. Oh man, Bob, I don't know that. Like, just those are two words that do not want to exist in my vocabulary. Asking if Alex is a gruntled employee. I can't be a gruntled employee. I'm the boss. She's the employee.
Oh, do we need a second opinion on this?
Uh-oh. Shots fired. Shots fired. Those were fighting words. Hopefully she's not.
Lena, do you need to come upstairs and set the record straight? I'll hold the podcast a little bit if you need to.
Gonna get smacked. Okay, let's change topic before my wife comes and gets me.
All right. So
next up, exciting news. These are now we're gonna turn it to better positive news.
yeah, we had our one trick for the week. Now we're going to get into the treats. This past Tuesday morning, Atlassian announced that the virtual agent, which is their first Atlassian intelligence feature, is now generally available for cloud JSM instances.
And
so what are we talking about here?
Yeah, what is a virtual agent? What can we look forward to? And should we get everyone on the podcast?
So virtual agent let's start with an agent. An agent in JSM is someone who answers tickets in your ticket queue. A virtual agent is someone who does that, but it's powered by Atlassian Intelligence. It's not a real person taking up a license. It's someone who a supplement. This isn't meant to replace workers. It's meant to supplement them.
What I was going to bring up. And for all of those of you waiting or fearing that your jobs are going to be replaced by a robot, it will work over here too. We are all going to be replaced by robots. The first time that I got GPT, I was like, we're all screwed. There's like nothing out there that is going to survive.
You at least do a video format. Those are harder. I do text. You think you're having problems? I am. The only saving grace is whenever I type Jira in ChatGPT, it is convinced I'm talking about giraffes.
Yeah. Bob welcomes our AI bot overloads. This reminds me of an episode of Silicon Valley where Guilfoyle is monitoring the price of Bitcoin and stuff, and they had like a whole AI episode. But he's like very positively talking about the AI so that when they do take over, like they would find grace in him. So I feel like Bob's just like he's throwing in his hat of like, I'm pro AI, do not obliterate me.
I'm only hoping that because I'm a cyborg, they'll view me as half robot and leave me alone.
Dude, so I asked the FBI last week. I had a chance to sit down with the FBI for 30 minutes, and I was like, hey, I was like, before or after the haircut? I haven't cut my hair, Ed. I haven't cut my hair. I just did something. It wasn't 5 a.m. Anyway, so I'm meeting with the FBI, right? And they're doing like their whole spiel on like cybersecurity and risk and hackers, and then they got into deep fakes. They got into the topic of like like how we can't trust anything on the internet anymore. Like, is this podcast even real? Type of thing. Right?
Rodney's on a beach somewhere. So's
Yeah.
Alex.
And so I was a little concerned because a few weeks ago I was reading a tweet from some guy who's like a certified ethical hacker, and he was working on a job where he had to extract a Bitcoin. And he, for some reason, he kept the Bitcoin on his laptop, and FBI was investigating and they traced it to his computer, right? Well, when he landed from overseas into the US, he was immediately captured at the airport and like taken to this back room and interrogated and all that, all the scary stuff that you think they do to you, right? And so he's posting his like little memoir of like this trauma that he had to go through. And so I asked the FBI agent, I was like, hey, so my voice, I got what, hundreds and hundreds, I have 500 videos, hundreds and hundreds of hours of my voice on the internet, almost every word, permutation of any word I've said on the internet. Like, it is very easy for someone to fake me saying something at this point, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I have a very growing concern of like, what's preventing the FBI from watching some video that I allegedly made, breaking the law, and then they just barging in through my front door, like arresting me, right? And his answer was like, "Oh, we do our due diligence." I'm like, I don't think so, because that one guy shouldn't have gone. He shouldn't have gotten detained. So I am very, very scared for this whole like AI and like even us as content creators, right? Like what this is going to have from bad actors, and if they want to do something bad, those opportunities are definitely going to be out there. So we're gonna have to find a way to protect ourselves from the.
Have you heard about Nightshade?
I've heard of the word, but I'm not familiar with it.
It is a tool that I believe Harvard, some research at Harvard are developing that essentially poisons some of these large language models. It makes it so that the output they produce won't be reliable anymore.
Yeah, it's gonna get scarier. But now enter AI taking it into a virtual assistant. So what do you like? Did they talk about like what can it do?
For one thing, this is not available for Teams yet. It's only available for Slack. But what it could do is it could sit there and wait in a channel, like your help channel, and when someone asks something, they can respond instantly without waiting for one of your agents to come online. And they could try and help them based off the information that's available in your facts, your knowledge base, your onboarding materials, all that, to try and automatically handle the problem.
So if you have it in Confluence somewhere, can it like look through other tickets and stuff?
I believe it can.
This is pretty game changing then, right? Because like the agents, like one of my biggest frustrations with like my teams is like you gotta go and like get additional information, right? Because requests are never the requests that I usually get are never like, hey, I need something simple, right? They're usually I need something, but I don't know what I need yet. And then I kind
Yeah,
of help them discover what they need.
there's always the classic example I give, because when I started my IT career, this was common for a particular generation to say, my internet's broke. Which could mean anything from the internet is actually down to I can't log into my email and anything in between. And I mean, without context, something like virtual agent is not going to really be able to help much with that, because they're going to take it at face value. Oh, my internet's down. Okay, here's what we're
But,
seeing. The network is up. All this.
but will it get better, right? Like will it teach itself too, right? Because yeah, maybe the first couple of requests, the internet's down, it doesn't know how to handle it. But then if you create a knowledge base article on like here's the steps, can that be trained?
In theory, yes.
Don't die on us here.
In practice, let's see how this plays out. I am excited about technology. Obviously, this was something that was announced at Team 23. I think both me and you, Alex, have been talking about this since Team 23, off and on. It was the big announcement to come out of that conference, and now we're finally seeing some of the first features from that announcement getting into the actual product.
I'll be worried when it can go do the workflow changes for me.
Yeah.
Like simple answering simple questions and based off that based off knowledge base, that's like 10% of my use cases, less than 10%. We got a question. Will the virtual agent be able to say, "Have you turned it off and on better"? More politely,
yes.
maybe?
No, they'll just ask you to turn it off and on 3 times before you bother us.
My wife's a little optimistic. She says that she should see AI as helping us get better. I'm very.
That is the hope. My only concern is that people are run by or the world is run by people like Zuckerberg.
What's wrong with Zuck?
Have you seen how he runs his company?
Yeah, and Zuck we trust.
9.
9?
9. That was so wrong. I had to even say it in a different language.
Isn't that a trending tweet? In Zuck we trust.
I don't know. I don't spend much time on whatever Elon is calling Twitter these days.
X. Apparently, if I've been reading Elon's biography, right, and he's got a thing with the letter X. Like he's always wanted X to be his thing, so much that he was like willing to fight PayPal for that name. Like he wanted PayPal to be X back then, but PayPal was not going to appeal to the customers back in the early days of the internet. Matt Dorr says everyone is saying it wrong. It's actually A1, not AI.
AI,
You should add that one to the Slack channel. Oh, by the way, maybe can we pull some of those? I thought that was the coolest joke ever. Who's dropping the
Rob pulling some of the jokes?
Folks, this is worth it. These are some funny. This is why we're here. I think we're gonna start. We should. What we need to do is like craft. This is what we need to do for Team 24, Ronnie. We need to get together with the Atlassian community here that comes to the Jira Live, and we need to put together like a whole comedy skit, like a whole 15-minute nerdiest nerd jokes ever, and just like get up there and like just.
I mean, we could put it as one of the theater presentations. Those are about 15-20 minutes.
Yeah, I think it'd be so cool. But yeah, pull up the Rob.
Let's wait till we could ask Rob if we could use him first.
What? It's on the internet.
It's on a private Slack channel.
Can you ping Rob and tell him if we can say his joke or jokes? Because those are too funny. Like for everybody else, and because Ronnie's killing the buzz right now.
I'm sorry, but YouTube is a copyright machine, and I don't want to cross it.
Our whole faces are copyrighted. Matt, we're stealing this one. Full disclosure. We're going to add it to our comedy skit.
So, for those who may not know what Alex is talking about, he obviously joined the Creators Program a couple of weeks ago. We've all been kind of coalescing in the Creators channel on Slack and interacting with each other. A whole bunch of new people, a whole bunch of old people. It's been amazing in that channel. One of the new creators, Rob, his idea for Team 24 is he's going to put together an entire presentation made up of nothing but dad jokes. And some of these have been amazing dad jokes. Yeah. And I do want to share them, but again, copyright being what it is, we should ask first.
We should, Stu, who's been on the Jira Live, he had a pretty good one on LinkedIn. I'm sure that one's already public, right? Or are you going to shoot that one down too?
Oh, are you talking about the
costume, the Jira admin costume?
Yeah, let me bring that one up real quick.
Yeah, so that one he'll do because it's public domain.
Yeah.
All right, so here's Mr. Stu's thing. So for the Jira folks in the room, the Jira admin includes multiple hats, unrealistic deadlines, bags under eyes, resting, stress, frown, server end of life. We need to add weekly CVE to this list. And not included predictable hours and user appreciation. Classic.
One size fits most.
This would be the appropriate time to pull up my Halloween costume from last year. Let's see if anybody can guess.
I'm going to go with Jira admin.
This was my costume last year. Anybody guess what it was? Ronnie, we totally dropped the ball. We should have done like a Halloween costume here.
We should have.
And anybody in the chat guess what my Halloween costume was that year? My wife doesn't count because she knows.
I want to say you're either the Flash or Thing One from
No,
Dr.
you
Seuss.
got it. You're thinking too general. This is very Atlassian Jira specific.
Oh, are you a bug?
I am a bug. I'm a Jira bug. Wow, wow, wow. You guys are not funny.
That was just so dad joke.
But wasn't this awesome? It was like, I was a Jira bug. I won like best cost, like most innovative costume. Nobody can figure out that I was a bug.
I'll just grab my steampunk hat and that'll be me.
All right, next year we do a Halloween episode where everybody is invited and we have to do like a little competition. How much is that shirt? So this one's an exclusive one. This one's not available in the ApeTech merch store, but let me know if you guys are interested in the bug shirt. We'll definitely make it available in the ApeTech merch store. A Jira bug. Just exclusive red. It's got to be in red with the white circle. You know what? I should, though, make the rest of the icons of the issue type.
That's what we should do for next Halloween is just all of us be a different issue type.
That's quite the inspiration, Bob. I'm going to just have my wife, we're going to go and upload the different colors of the different icons, the task, the epic.
Yeah, we need a t-shirt in this specific text code.
Ed said that would be epic.
So Ed's coming on as the epic?
Ed will be a purple shirt with a white lightning bolt. Yes, we get it. But we should be, you know what, you know how they have those Myers-Briggs personality tests? We should have like a what issue type are you personality test. These are great ideas. We're gonna do like the whole comedy skit. The Jira joke.
Now, Matt here, he is a Jira admin.
We should all wear the same T-shirt, but give them different names: bug, defect, etc.
Problem, customer sadness, story, task, subtask. Just have it all be the same icon.
Oh my gosh, I hate when people do that. Well, the worst one, my biggest pet peeve is the gray circle that's the default. It's like the most sad and depressing icon. And it's the one that everything gets the moment you create a new issue type.
Okay, I'll be the sad gray icon, and I'll be subtask without the hyphen. Oh, there's a deep cut.
See, look at this. Like, we're so totally, we're a bunch of nerds here.
I mean, we didn't pick the Jira life. It picked us.
Yeah. Issue type personality test. Nobody steal these from me. I'm going to execute on them eventually. Nobody beat me to market. We're doing these amazing things. We will give credit to the Jira Amigos and Peanut Gallery for coming up with the amazing. What else should we do? Okay, sorry. totally derailed that whole conversation. Let's get back to this virtual assistant.
Yes. So that's the feature they have right now. Obviously, we know, as announced during Team 23, that they have a whole lot more they're hoping to do with this tool. They go into some of that in this article, like the summarizing issues, changing your tone, fixed spelling and grammar. Honestly, folks, I would not be able to write if not for Grammarly.
I thought you were just like, well, this joke is definitely not gonna hit home with anybody, but growing up, when I was a little kid, watched a lot of Spanish soap operas, but the commercials, there was always this Inglés sin Barreras, which was like this like VHS, like 30 VHS collection and CDs or tapes where you can learn English without barriers, and it was called Inglés sin Barreras. And so I always thought you were like Mr. Inglés sin Barreras because like I thought your English was always just perfect. Don't tell people it's all behind Grammarly.
Honestly, go back and read some of my early articles
I think Inglés
before
sin
I was
Barreras
using Grammarly.
exist? I'd be very curious. Andy,
Was that?
welcome. Andy. I was going to tell Andy here. La Rosa de Guadalupe. Walter Mercado. If you ever watched Walter Mercado, that guy used to creep the crap out of me when I was little, and my grandma would do nothing but watch this guy. And he's like into like witchcraft, but he would read the future and predict the future and like some scary, scary stuff. But you didn't grow up in a Hispanic household. Is Walter Mercado wasn't playing in your house.
I mean, I didn't grow up in a Hispanic household. That was 3 houses down because I lived on an army base, and I'd go over there after school sometimes. So I've seen it.
You've seen it? We got El
Yeah.
Gordo de Blanca. We also had Sábado Gigante, which was like this guy who just had like a talk show host on Saturdays. That was every single Saturday. Sábado Gigante. Ed is quite Hispanic. I'm quite proud of Ed here. He knows his Mexican shows.
So
Oh yeah, I was gonna tell Andy here. If only there was like a tool that we could use that sets reminders for us and like Slack notifications.
yeah, we could keep hoping.
Hey, the virtual assistant can send a reminder to Andy and tell him, "Hey, it's time to watch the Jira Life." Telenovelas. That's how I learn a new language. Man. Oh yeah, I gotta see. I've been. I'm gonna. We need to bring Andy on the show. We need to see when he's available. All right, so let's wrap up the virtual assistant so we can go on to our next topic.
Yeah. So yeah, first new feature from Atlassian Intelligence. We're expecting more.
Now this is in addition to the AI that we've been talking in the past, right? So there's AI that's available for Confluence, AI that's available for Jira. Remember, we've talked about the Jira one where you can do natural language JQL. So this one is very specific to Jira Service Management and to help facilitate those requests, right? And it goes above and beyond canned responses. I think canned responses is probably like the first step, 0.001 into this world, right? But
this one can
Andy lost.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. Andy says, next week I'm in DC for ACE. Andy, aren't you coming to my side of the hood here within the next few weeks?
Yeah, you mentioned that this morning that it's coming your way.
When is it? I need to make some time.
Yeah, Ed and Nikki fought against Andy and Tamana, and Ed and Nikki prevailed. There's some format changes to how the Quiz Whiz round 2 is happening. There's a speed round after 10 questions, one speed round for each of the teams, and going into the speed round, both teams were tied. So it really came down to the speed round, and Ed and Nikki knocked that out of the park. But if you guys don't know what we're looking at, you could either look up Atlassian Quiz Whiz on YouTube or in the Atlassian community events. You can watch them live.
Yeah,
I plead the fifth, Ed. I plead a fifth.
Jira Avengers doing some recon. I don't know why, but I am beyond stressing out with this thing. I'm at the point where I just want to pull out because the level of stress and anticipation. I think I'm going up this Friday.
No, I think it's next week.
Is it? It got moved on me. We were gonna be right after Thanksgiving, but my partner is going to be traveling, so I think we got moved up in schedule.
I will neither confirm nor deny that I took screenshots of a good number of the questions.
That doesn't
Especially
help
that
you.
word find.
It doesn't help you, right? Like, it's just the damn questions are so freaking hard.
Well, the thing is it's a reference. It tells me what kind of questions they're thinking of and what mix they have. So I can then put that in, like, how much do I need to study different materials? Like the Atlassian website. Do I need to go through that again?
Yeah, but the most like
that word find was
I just don't like I'm on the Atlassian website all day and I can't memorize that thing. I still want to be able to like banter in the show. I think we're gonna have to make the Jira Life phenomenon quiz thingy. Look at that. Find 2 p.m. tools. I thought we had the hints of like somebody do the upper part and somebody do the bottom part.
Well, thing is, these are not 2 Atlassian PM tools. These are just 2 PM tools. One of them I heard of for the first time this morning.
I found automation, but that's not a PM tool.
Nope.
Homework is not a PM tool. I found 2 words, but they're not.
There's more in there. There's Cook.
I know. I found
There's GoDaddy.
This is really hard, and you're gonna make me like you're already giving me anxiety from this dumb test that I have to go do next week.
Well, good. Better chance me and Ed wins.
Wait, we're not going head to head, right?
No, not yet.
Not yet. I almost want to get out of this thing already. It just stresses me out so much. Homework was one.
So the 2 options that are actually in there are ClickUp and Rike. WRIKE.
I've heard of both of those. I wouldn't have guessed them in there. The problem is like if you had time, you could look at them all and probably find them, but you also have a limited amount of time.
Mm-hmm. Andy's got your back. Yeah, he says the word search next week will probably be easier because this one was just ungodly hard.
When are you guys going up?
We are going up right now. I think we're looking at November 30th.
Oh, so you took our spot. We were going to do that day. We're doing November 9th. Again, I am not looking forward to it, but we'll do what we can.
It'll be fun. I'll be there to cheer you on.
The questions
make you more nervous.
Unattainable. Like if you had like a 5% chance of attaining something, I'd be more fun, right? But like the questions are like
the question that I really challenged me as just an audience member was one where the answer was Pokemon. It was like it was talk about the creator Satoshi Tajiri, his background, what he did as childhood, what inspired the game, but didn't mention the game or his name.
But who knows that? Why would you know that?
Long story. You forget, I used to work in gaming. I love this stuff.
Yeah, but
and the history of Nintendo especially, that is a fascinating company to read about.
We'll see, man. Andy, you let me know when you're gonna. I know you said November 14th. I am available 24/7 for you, so you let me know.
Like the company that makes Pokemon is called Game Freak, the one that actually makes the games. Their first Nintendo game was not a Pokemon game. It was the Game Boy Camera. So, yeah, Quiz Whiz coming up.
Not looking forward to it.
Bob, I'm depending on you to get the website questions, so we'll see how this works out.
Dude, this is the only reason why I'm not so worried, because Dita is like so good at this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She got like every single one of them. So I got a good partner. That's my only saving grace, is that I got a really good partner. There's a Mark is it Mark Livingstone? He's the San Diego ace guy, I believe. Have to study it. How do you study the website, man? Don't you know how much text is on that website?
www.atlassian.com.
Oh my gosh.
Product. Jira software.
Yes, but it can be any of these.
Scan.
And how are you going to remember this?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out too.
Like, you got to like print out like screenshots of every page, every section of the page, and just have them on you, and like walk into a room and go, "What's missing?" This is just like, I'm telling you, man, they're just really, really hard. I do need to talk with Mr. Mark, by the way. We need to do like a San Diego event. All right, so let's just jump into the last topic here. Let's go into our AirTrack. I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea what the heck AirTrack does.
AirTrack is a company that does metrics.
Wait, hold up. Did you see this, Mr. Cheat Sheet over here? I'm like Dory, Bob. I'm the opposite. I see something and I forget in half a millisecond.
As I said, I'm depending on Bob to get the website questions because I do not have a photographic memory. But I have a pretty general...
I just feel bad being the dead weight in my team, though. I should... yeah. Anyways.
There was another pop culture question that took me much longer to figure out than I care to admit.
I had on mine, we had Titanic and Friends. And like, they're so close. Like, one of the questions that we had was, like, there's a show about these people that get around a table, right? And I'm like, it couldn't have been like, I was between Friends and How I Met Your Mother, because those are the only two shows where people like really hung out around the table. But I would have leaned more towards How I Met Your Mother, because they were actually at a table, or more like a booth. Then Friends would have been like a couch. Like, the whole premise of Friends is the couch. I would have never thought about the table. But then that iconic, like, we also had the Titanic scene on our, but we got those. Those were easy.
So yeah, AirTrack. Let's try and get back on task. AirTrack does ITSM metrics, quality management. Basically, they're trying to beef up their ITSM stack yet again.
They are investing heavily in this ITSM stuff.
It's the fastest growing sector of Atlassian's business, from what I understand.
And I don't understand though why, like, they're putting, like, I get why they're putting a lot of effort, but when you look at the competition, they all suck. And so,
here's the thing. Every company has a life cycle they go through where they kind of peak and then they fall off. Atlassian's really trying hard to avoid that peak.
I don't think Atlassian's gone to the peak yet, though, because when you look at ServiceNow, that thing is straight garbage. There's not enough money in the world for you that you can pay me for me to use ServiceNow. I mean,
I'm not disagreeing.
Any day I'll pick Jira Service Management. The fact that I can even get started with Jira Service Management right now is like awesome. But walk us through what AirTrack does, Mr. Rodney, because I actually have no clue what AirTrack does.
So your look is as good as mine. This was personally the least interesting news of the week from Atlassian.
You think so?
It's big. Any acquisition they do is usually pretty big. But Yeah, beyond the fact that it does ITSM metrics, I haven't really looked too deep into it.
So, so as I'm very quickly glancing over this, right? Assets, coolest feature
Hmm.
Atlassian has, hardest feature Atlassian has.
Aggregate and cleanse data from multiple asset discovery tools, though.
But the problem is, so I think this is a novel attempt or novel thing to have, but through my discovery, it is most people have garbage, and so it's like I have a hard time understanding the value when you're analyzing your garbage. Like, great, now I know that I have garbage, but I knew that already. So
One
it's
of the better tools I've seen, and it was by no means good. I'm not saying it's a good tool, but it's one of the better tools, was from Spicework that did automatic network discovery. And even then, I was never really happy with it because it was very much, oh, we do Windows, and if you do anything Linux, I'm sorry. Which most of what I do is Linux.
right.
So it's like,
And what about like the interoperability of tools and technologies, right? Like they're not all designed to work together. So then you're
mhm.
still left with like a bunch of like blind spots and stuff like that. So like I saw that a lot with the assets, right? Like most teams, it was like not even setting up assets itself, right? It was just like figuring out what the heck were your assets and what should be an asset. And it was like just all over the place. I don't think a
And
lot
one
of
thing I haven't seen anyone really do well is someone plugs a random Raspberry Pi into your network.
you're doing what with the Raspberry Pi?
I mean, just detecting that someone plugs a random
Oh,
Raspberry Pi into your network. Every time I've heard that story, someone accidentally stumbles upon it some point later.
so Bob thinks that this is going to help clean up and simplify what gets imported from assets discovery. I don't know, man. I just feel like so many companies have like when you go look at like a Northrop and stuff, like first of all, half the assets aren't even connected to a network, yet you still have to account for them. The other assets are that are connected to the internet, like nobody knows what's up. Then you got like different owners and like I
I
don't know.
had
I get it's a
my
problem,
first
but how the heck do you fix it?
my first Jira admin job. I had a whole network or a whole server room that was my responsibility to manage. And I, even by the time I left the company, I could not tell you what half those machines did. I'm like, yeah, I'm responsible for it, but that's been there since 2001. I was in high school.
You know, so I'm hoping I don't know how long AirTrack has been around, but earlier this year I dabbled with Tori. Have you heard of Tori?
I have not.
So Tori is this interesting company who again they have good intentions, but the practicality is almost impossible, right? But the whole premise of Tori is that you plug in all your SaaS applications to it, and it will spit back your usage licenses and how they're being used and what like usage of your licenses, like utilization and like how many are active, how many are inactive, and stuff like that. When's the last time somebody used it and whatnot? But it goes across all your portfolio of SaaS tools and it tells you all the distributions. Which again, great idea, except when I threw Jira at it, it couldn't. It fell flat on its face. It could not understand that Jira has global licenses, it has per site licenses, it has per product licenses, and it was just spinning numbers. Like none of the numbers, I couldn't trace a single number back to the actual raw licenses that I knew I had. And like we spent like the better part of like 2 months working with Tori, trying to figure it out and like reverse engineer. I opened up all my books, they opened up their books, and like they just gave up. And then I gave up, and I was like, when you guys figure it out, call me. And they haven't called me. It's been 8 months. But I'm kind of worried about this, like something like this with AirTrack, right? Like I don't know the track record, no pun intended there, of AirTrack, right? But it's these tools where they try to make these discoveries and these connections and these, bridge the gaps. But those gaps are there for a reason. You need a really, really sophisticated tool to be able to help bridge those gaps. So I'm not. All that to say is I'm not holding out my breath for this one.
As I said, this one very much felt like the least interesting news of the week. Obviously, hey, this is an active vulnerability, and by the way, we're seeing people use it in the wild was very much a bigger priority in my week, and it kind of ruined all the other news in my mind.
Well, we got 10 minutes, so why don't we pull up your topic that you wanted to discuss here if we had time? Oh, there you are. You're ready to go.
I told you I got ready this afternoon. So yeah, Team 24 coming up April. I'm a little miffed about the time because they actually scheduled it over my anniversary with my wife. So we're trying to figure out what that looks like because
I
she
told you,
knows
I'll take my wife. You take your wife.
that may end up being what happens.
they go do their thing. We do our thing.
But as we said, it is coming up, and every year about this time, the 1st of November, so Atlassian opens up their call for speakers. And per tradition, they have done that again. What
In
you
the
get
chat,
to go ahead.
sorry, in the chat, let us know if you think that Rodney and I should submit a call for a speaker proposal.
I mean, honestly, it would be my third at this point, and I'm probably going to do a total of 4. I'm not saying I'm ballot stuffing, but I'm definitely trying to put the odds in my favor.
So in the chat, anybody else interested in presenting at Team 24? I've never presented at a conference, so I would love to have an opportunity to talk at a conference.
I did my first in-person conference presentation a couple of weeks ago, and it was a amazing experience front to back. I've got a great presentation for it. I'm actually trying to recycle that presentation because it wasn't recorded. I think it was a really good one. But yeah, let's talk about what you go through all this work, you put together a talk, what you get out of it. Well, first thing you get is you get a free pass to attend Team 24. In years past, this has included hotel and air flight. I don't see any mention of it this year, but typically, if they're asking you to come out to talk, they're going to make sure you're taken care of.
But the important part is, do you get to access that special exclusive roped off section of the
Oh no, that's still for community leaders. You just get to watch me from the other side.
I swear, man, I've never felt more alienated in my life.
And I'm telling you, we just need to do more Jira duties.
Jira duties. See, so Matt says that he's done a few summits teams, but I want more technical content and scaling, and that's not what the intent is from Atlassian. Matt, if you ever want to present technical content on my YouTube channel, you let me know. You are available to my, by the way, hit 11,000 subscribers today, Ronnie.
11,000.
Yeah.
So we just need 89,000 more.
Mm-hmm. And then some.
Well, I mean, that's the start. That's where you get the silver play button.
Yeah. So Matt's gonna come on. Matt, let's chat after this. Well, not today. Well, not right now, but let's definitely chat because yeah, I'm looking to expand the reach. All right. So what else you get? A partner from Atlassian to provide guidance on your content, assist with deliverables, timelines, and more.
That's just a PM. Let's call them what they are.
A comprehensive speaker resource center and playbook to assist you in preparing for delivering your content.
From what I've been told, this is actually fairly extensive. Their speaker support is usually, again, Matt, correct me because you've actually been through this. I haven't, but they really provide a lot of support to their speakers.
And not to bash against any of the speakers from last year, but there wasn't a single speaker that I was like, wow. But I don't like I don't like the way Atlassian did this, like in the expo. But I also did not know that there were rooms where they were doing the presentations.
Yeah.
But I think having that whole presentation in the expo hall is it's an interesting idea. But all I did was talk to you though. So it's like it doesn't like I think it's too distracting, right? You got too many variables happening all around you to like really hone it.
Which, by the way, Alex, we really need to give Bob a producer credit at some point for the podcast.
Whatever you need.
But he's really pushing for the TGL panel.
I asked Matt Dorr about LinkedIn's Atlassian Stack deployment ones, and I think my eyes went
That I saw one of Matt's presentations. I think it was
So
my first summit, and I had that exact same reaction. Ed, Matt is an old school legend.
so in the very likely event that they don't give us a panel, are we just gonna commandeer a table like last year and like set up shop?
I mean, what are they going to do? Stop us?
They didn't stop it last time. That was the birth of the Jira life.
Yeah, I think they're very much interested in user generated content, which that's what we're doing.
We definitely did not do a
So,
live episode last time, but we're definitely gonna be coming live from the expo hall. And I
yeah.
think we should do maybe a couple, like one a day or something, just to kind of recap the day.
Well, Bob's idea is to have our presentation be a live episode.
As long as I can start off with the Gettysburg Address. And we're gonna do a TJL flash mob.
Peanut Gallery flash mob.
Oh my gosh. I believe they pronounced Mimi, right? Oh man, you guys are too much. Too funny. All right, so we gotta go talk about some stuff with Mr. Bob. So why don't we start
Our
calling this
producer.
one, winding this one down. So everybody,
All
thank
right.
you very much for tuning in for yet another amazing episode of the Jira Life here. If you know which episode we're on, please let us know. We're either on 22 or 23. We're not 100% sure. But
I'm sure we could look it up on YouTube if we cared.
Yeah, I gotta go in and count them. But we are definitely going to be reaching out a couple people like William, who's in here, right? He's offered to be a guest on here. So definitely, I haven't forgotten about you all. I just been traveling the last couple weeks, and then this week I got hit with everything. And so I am catching up. I'm trying to breathe. But we are Nikki, William, Hernan. I got a buddy named Travis, Leo. I got another buddy named Steve. If you're all watching,
Matt.
Yeah. And let's not forget Andy. We got a peer pressure into coming on, right? So we are not forgetting about you. We're gonna come, right? We're gonna definitely reach out, but I'm gonna try to get a schedule going here to see if we can get a couple guest speakers within the last few episodes. And then we do have a little dilemma. We got a gobble day coming up here in the US for lands on a Thursday. So we may need to do a special early episode or
We'll get it figured out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out, but stay tuned. We'll see if we put on turkey hats.
We'll do it Friday, and we'll see what Atlassian has for Black Friday sales.
Nothing. All right. With that said, take it away, Mr. Roddy.
All right, my friend here is Alex, Dr. Jira Ortiz. You can find his channel at AirTrack Tech Tutorials. My name is Rodney Nissen, better known as the Jira Guy. You can find me at thejiraguy.com. Our producer and lead peanut gallery is King Bob Wren.
That's what you meant by producer. Absolutely. Bob, like in behind the scenes, is coming up with all the stuff that needs to happen.
Yeah, so he is definitely our producer now. Sorry, Bob, you're getting the credit. You can catch us every Thursday live on YouTube at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, where we talk about the latest news, get in feedback from the Peanut Gallery, and see what's going on in the community. If you cannot catch us live, you can catch us on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, or wherever you get your podcast from. If you think we deserve a rating, please do. It does help us out. And as always, we didn't choose the Jira Life. The Jira Life chose us. Thanks for watching.